My last dollar. Stephen Leacock. Describe the steps by which the narrator tried to remind Todd about the borrowed dollar. How do they fail? My Lost Dollar is a story narrated in first person by the author Stephen Leacock. Stephen Leacock has humorously tried to show the ways in which he tried to get back his lent dollar. Stephen Leacock was a political economist, humorist and short story writer of Canada. The author one day lent his friend Todd $1. He lent $1 to pay for his taxi to go to Bermuda. However, after going to Bermuda, Todd forgot all about the $1. The author expected Todd to return it as soon as he could, but Todd did not seem to remember. Todd and Stephen were good friends, so Todd wrote a letter to the author from Bermuda. The author was excited to receive an envelope as he thought that the envelope would have the dollar. In the letter, Todd had mentioned about the temperature in Bermuda but not about the dollar. So Stephen was disappointed. When Todd returned to the town after 3 weeks, then Stephen met Todd at the railway station. The author was eagerly waiting for Todd and he thought that now Todd would return his dollar. So he did not explicitly ask about the dollar. Instead he said that they should hire one taxi to go to Montreal. Stephen wanted to remind Todd about $1 that he had paid for the taxi ride to Bermuda. But Todd did not agree and suggested that they should walk instead. Second time the author failed to get back his $1 as Todd could not understand the hint of the author. Both Todd and the author spent the entire evening talking about Bermuda. All that while Stephen expected Todd to remember the $1 that he owed him. But he did not explicitly mention that. He felt that it is embarrassing to ask from friends the money directly, and that too a small amount like $1. In his third attempt, Stephen inquired of Todd about the currency in Bermuda and its value as compared to the American dollar. He expected that Todd would remember that $1. To his utter dejection, Todd seemed to have forgotten about that dollar completely. After few days the narrator again tried. This was his fourth attempt. He inquired of Todd as to what was the cost of his trip, but still Todd did not remember. Once while talking about Poland, Todd said that Poland would never pay her debts, but even that episode did not remind Todd that he had to pay. Finally, Stephen gave up on the dollar from Todd. He added the name of Todd to the list of people who owed him $1 and had forgotten about it. The author also thought that just as Todd had forgotten to return $1, perhaps he himself also had forgotten to return money he borrowed from others. He does not remember any names. He wishes to start an honesty movement for paying those the odd dollars, small amounts, that he borrowed earlier. Honesty for the author is important. The author has left a final comment in humor that he did not want Todd to see the copy of the book with this story and read this story. Thus, through a small incident which seems to be irrelevant, the author has tried to show that money is valuable and we need to be clear in our monetary transactions. A small amount may be quite important for the lender. He also has valued the importance of friendship, which is much more precious than the money. An honest man always remembers the help done by friends. He ends by saying that the greatest nations were built up on the rock basis of absolute honesty.